Let's make some candied grapes. I got a lot to tell you guys. I'll be right back. I need to get a bowl. Okay, so hey you guys. So as you see, my setup is a little different today. I am about to make some candied grapes, and it's because for my birthday, I had, well, let me backtrack. Back in June, I got laid off from my job. I was not so much as devastated. I was just more or less like kind of frustrated all in all because it just came out of nowhere. I'm thinking like, hey, everything is fine. Next thing you know, they were laying us off. So instead of me being like, oh, let me go and spend this money, let me go shopping, what I did is I went ahead on my previous birthday and went ahead and purchased my LLC. So I am now a official brand and company. The name of this channel is going to change. It's going to be now the Starlit Sips, and that is the name of my mobile bartending company here in the Pennsylvania area. So if you know anybody that's looking for any form of marketing, advertisement services, or anything of the nature that could possibly help them with their administrative and or event needs, family oriented and or adult, we are a one-stop shop. You know, I'm just letting my will of way guide me. I'm going to take you guys on this journey with me, and this is my first video on making some candy grapes. So while I make some candy grapes, let's just kind of chit chat. I'm gonna turn on some music and we're going to get this started. Okay, so with candied grape, what you're going to do is you're basically going to go ahead and get you about a handful of grape. Being the fact that I'm only doing this for this video, I am not going to do a lot, but I'm going to do enough that I can have some to snack through the weekend. So I'm about to make, I want to say about a dozen, maybe 2 dozen, but it's just for show. So when you are taking your grape off, I want to pick this up so I can show you. When you are taking your grape off, now if you notice here how the stem is like right at the bit of here, instead of pulling it off where you're going to grab a whole bunch of skin, what you're going to do is you're going to go here and twist and pull it off. You want it as clean as possible during like near this hole. Sorry if it's not focusing. You want it as clean as possible, because whenever you go to stick the toothpick in there later, you don't want it to be too loose where it falls into the candy. So give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and get these divined and divined, and we'll get down to the next step, and that is washing them. Over time, you'll get kind of used to doing this, so you'll pretty much get through these pretty quick. I do sell them for half off the day of if people are available that wants them. So if you ever do come across a video like this, you can always check with me to see if I do have any available, because I might have some on hand. And I just now realized I was not counting, so whatever. I'm just going to fill the bottom of this, and then that's what I'm going to do for candy grapes. Okay, so that looks like that is enough for how much I'm going to do. I did not waste a lot, and the rest I'm going to go ahead and put away in the refrigerator. But if you're ever looking for this brand, it is the Cotton Candy Grapes from Sam's Club. Maybe Wally World may have wherever you are. Your grocery store may have some nice spring grapes, but make sure they're cotton candy, because that kind of makes them just a teeny bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the refrigerator. I'm going to wash these off with some vinegar and some baking soda and let them sit for a bit, and then I'll be back in a second to go ahead and let you guys know what the next step is. Stay tuned. All right, now that we got these all washed off, I went ahead and put on some gloves. You got to keep clean. Never play games with any germs. So now that these is all washed off, I put on some gloves just so that I could go ahead and start to put the toothpicks in these. These toothpicks, you can find these at the dollar store. These are really good to have. because you always need them to be able to hold these in place and make sure you don't burn yourself, because when you first start out, that's all you tend to do is burn yourself. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these stuck in here, and you're going to stick it right here in the little hole at the top. Don't stick it in too far because you don't want it to stick out the other bottom. And as long as you have it like that, you're good. Then you want to kind of lay them out because you're going to put them in the freezer while your candy is heating up, so that you have kind of like a little bit of a more of a solid foundation when you put your candy on, and it makes your candy harden up pretty quick so that you can move on to the next step without losing out on time of heat with your mixture. And when you're heating up your candy mixture, you're going to heat it up to a 302 degrees. And then you're going to take it directly off of the heat and sit it down on a towel or something that, you know, will protect your counters from the heat of the pot. And you'll dip while it's sitting out. And if it hardens a little bit, you'll just throw it back on the heat for a little bit until it softens back up. So once you get through putting these toothpicks in, you're going to put it in the freezer, and then you're going to get to preparing your candy mixture. Now I will place on the screen my go-to candy mixture method and play around with it. If it works for you, it works for you. If it don't, it don't. But majority of the time, I did do a lot of research before doing this. So what I'm about to say, I have gotten from plenty of people on YouTube, as well as online, about making candy grapes. So as you see, I got all of the toothpicks inside of the grapes. So I'm gonna put these in the freezer, let these freeze for a little bit, and then I am going to start on the candy mixture on top of my little stove top that I got for this little table here. I'm hoping I don't burn or make no marks in my table, but I guess we gonna find out, and y'all gonna find out with me. So I'm gonna put these in the freezer. Let these go ahead and freeze a little bit so I can have a solid foundation. And then I'm going to get to making my candy mixture. Okay, you guys, so we're going to start with the candy mixture. I have my pot over here. This is just a regular regular steel pot. This is a regular steel pot, thick bottom. Now we are going to get to making the candy mixture. I cannot get this up on the table too far because the cord to it is pretty short. So we're going to make it do what it do on the side here, but I am going to bring this pot right here in the middle so that I can show you guys how I make my candy mixture. Now, in this here, y'all, I want to show y'all. This is my company, yay me. This is the Starlit Sips. And as you see, I did make this card myself. I did not use a template or anything like that. This is one of the services that I do gladly offer. So if you ever need any form of business cards, marketing, flyers, whatever the case may be, I'm your girl. But yeah, that's what I do. So all right, now for the candy mixture, what I'm going to put in here is 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of sugar, a half a cup of water, and a half cup of Karo syrup. Only reason why I'm using such a small batch is because, again, let's say it with me, it's only for the video. So I don't want to use a lot of product on this and just take you guys along this raw journey, because I am betting on myself, and at this point I just want to be able to hold myself accountable. So let's get to making this sugar. I don't know why I keep putting this pot back up here, but let's put it back down here. All right, let me get the sugar. All right, so we're gonna have to move some stuff out the way because, honey, I ain't got no space. Oh, well, the sugar could go right over here. All right, so we got the measuring cup. This is a cup fully, and this is a half a cup. Now, technically, they say use a 1/4 cup of Karo syrup and a 1/4 cup of water whenever you're using 1 cup of sugar, but I've done it this way. It works for me. It may not work for the next person, but honestly, as long as we have the right end result, then I don't see a problem. All right, so let's go ahead and get the sugar in here. We're gonna put 1 cup of sugar, 1 full cup of sugar. And while we're getting this sugar in here, let's go ahead and get this little heater started because we're going to need that on. Okay, so I'm using a new container for my sugar. Kind of thought it would be. All right, so we got that 1 cup of sugar in there, and then we're going to do a 1/2 cup of water. Now I'm using bottled water. Now I don't know if you like this brand. You know, my kids like this brand, so that's why I'm using this brand. But bottled water to me is better because, you know, the faucet is a little dirty. So we go ahead and we pour a 1/2 cup of water. We get that on in there. And then we save this for later. Don't throw it away. That's a waste. And then we're going to use our trusty dusty K-Row in a 1/2 cup. Okay, so we got that 1/2 cup. And we're going to go ahead and get that poured right on in here. And we want to get all this out of here. We don't want everything. I got these spoons from Amazon. They come in handy. So we're going to get us a little mixy. Oh, maybe I'm using the wrong utensil. Oh. Let me put this off to the side. Wait a minute. All right, so we're going to get this mixed up. We're going to get all the ingredients stuck from the bottom because you don't want it to be stuck to the bottom. I can't stress that enough. And you want to get this mixed up as good as you can. Scrape the sides, and once you get it mixed up, you're going to go ahead and start boiling this until it comes to 300 degrees, 302 max, and that is the hard crack stage for this candy. I will be doing another video on sour candy sauce, and I will be giving my homage to who I learned it from off TikTok, but that is a whole different ballpark, and it is definitely good for soft candy grapes. I also do those sour syrup that you put on the, you know, on the actual candy grapes. So this looks pretty good. We got everything kind of stirred up. You see how that's moving and smoothing. So now that we got that all mixed up, we're going to want to go ahead and get this up here on this electric conductor here. I don't even think it's called a conductor. All right, now once you get that up there, you're going to want to take your candy thermometer and take off the nice little protected tip. And you see this little tip here. I don't know, can you see it? You want to take this little protected tip here, and you're going to want to stick it down in your pot. Now, when I say do not touch the bottom of your pot, I mean do not touch the bottom of your pot. Why? Because you will get a false reading. Okay, so let's say it together. Do not touch the bottom. It's like, no, I'm playing with y'all. But look, do not touch the bottom of your pot because you don't want to get a false reading. You want to get this up to a 300, like I said before, or a 302 max if you happen to forget. But you don't want to go beyond that. That is the hard crack stage. So I'm going to go ahead and get this clipped in here. This is a new thermometer because my daughter accidentally washed my other one. All right, so when this comes up to, let's see. And while you're waiting on this candy to get to where it needs to be, guess what? You can leave it be. Stop playing it any mind until it heats up to where it needs to go. So let's do a time lapse. Okay, so now I'm at about 220, 217 to be exact. And I have a mirror color. Now I heard that there is a better bright white than this that is not as harsh or hardens up the candy. And I'm going to review that because I do want to try them all just so I can kind of know what fits best and what doesn't. But right now I have the AmeriColor Bright White. I'm going to put about 4 drops of this in there and get that mixed in because I'm just going to do a basic color. I'm like going between green and red, but I think I'm going to see what it looks like with the green. All right, so we got this bright white in there. We'll go ahead and get that mixed in. And this is also AmeriColor. I try to stay within the brand when I'm trying them out because I'm gonna put one yellow in so that it's kind of a limey green and not a green. All right, that should be enough. And I only put 3 drops of color in here. All right, so we're finally up to almost the hard crack stage. It slowed down on bubbling. At first, I thought it was burning because this is my first time using this little gadget here. It surprisingly is not burnt. It is just taking really long, and I will be replacing this lovely thermometer because Bomada, is it called? It's not a great thermometer, not this one at least. So it's about to come to the hard crack stage. So I'm about to get ready because as soon as it comes to the hard crack stage, you want to take it off of the fire, turn the fire off, and get to dipping. So we're about to be there. Almost at the 300. And then I have my grapes over here. I took them out the freezer while I was waiting. So now we're at 301, so we're going to go ahead and take this off. We're going to turn this off. We don't want that to be burning, so we're going to take this out. And then you stick this in a cup of water. Let the water do what it does. And then you're going to bring your pot over here and sit it on down. Sit it on down. And then you're going to wait for these bubbles to kind of stop. Calm down. You don't need to rush. This is the best part. So we're going to wait for these bubbles to kind of subside a little. And then we're going to get to dipping or grapes. Okay, so you see how these bubbles died down. Now, if this was 4 o'clock, I would probably wait for these bubbles to die down just a little bit more. Just because it's some effect. But I'm going to go ahead and get the dipping. And you just want to shake off that excess. And you have your candied grape. So you're going to go ahead and get these set out. And then you're just going to go through and dip all of your grapes. And as you pull it up, you want to go ahead and kind of twist it. Just to kind of give it a little teardrop where the liquid, the excess liquid will come off and leave a nice smooth rounded coat because you don't want it to be bubbly or bumpy. Okay, so you do want to kind of try to move a little fast with this because I am noticing that the slower I go, the less flexibility I'm having here. So I don't know if I'm going to get all of these grapes dipped, but I'm going to try. Okay, so I think this is it for this batch because it is starting to seize up on me and I'm not comfortable with so I am new to striping, if you haven't noticed. So I'm just trying to find different ways that it works for me without all these hairs everywhere. But as we say, Practice makes perfect. So that's how you make candy grapes. I made a huge mess, but practice makes perfect. Now I'm going to try these out. I was able to get these done before it started to kind of freeze up. I'm going to go ahead and get this all cleaned up. But if you like this video, please put a thumbs up. I will be making videos all the way through, and you guys will be watching me get better as I get better. So yeah, just stay tuned because you can only get better from here. Thanks if you stayed around. I hope you subscribed and became a part of the family. See you guys soon. Oh, I gotta get in this frame.